Hey guys, welcome to my new movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the film Contact by Robert Zemeckis. This is his follow-up film that he worked on after Forrest Gump. And I think it took him about 3 years after Forrest Gump to release it. But this film, it's actually a really good movie. It's about a girl who has always dreamt of having some type of contact with alien life. She strongly believes that there's something out in outer space that we're not just the only species of intelligent life around. That there really is other creatures somewhere that exist that want to make communicative contact with us, and that they're out there somewhere, and she wants to prove that to people. So she finally gets an opportunity to do so. She has these wavelength recordings on this device where she works at. She is able to decipher these images, which show you how to make a certain machine, which could get you into close encounter with these aliens, and actually get to communicate with them like she's always dreamt of doing. And so she gets the government's attention, and they find a way to fund this project to get the machine made. And it's all about is there alien life? What is this machine going to do? Is it going to fail? Are we going to have the things we have here on Earth? Are they going to be able to make this thing to make it work? So there's a whole bunch of questions going into this movie, and it's about the journey of, is there something really out there? So overall, guys, I liked Contact a lot. This film has so much to say about outer space and how the human race is such a small part of the universe, that there is so much out there, that there's so much to think about, and there's just all this intelligent life, and we're just a small little part of that. We're just one part of this really big place, and that there has to be something out there that isn't just us. So overall, for my positives and negatives of Contact, this one has a ton of stuff to say about the science and religion of the universe. It just has so much to say about, is there a God out there? Would God want us to know there's other forms of life? Does science allow this? Does science allow us to see these other species and see these other planets and communicate with these aliens? So this film does such a beautiful job with showing the science and the religion of what exactly might be out there besides just the human race. This film is also very touching and sweet at times. This girl, I don't want to get into too much detail because it might be a potential spoiler. Um, this film came out in 1997, so this isn't a new film. But there's so many touching and sweet moments regarding her father. Something happens to the dad early on in her life, and so the film touches on that and shows a very sweet side of how much this girl loved her dad. And so it's just a very sweet and touching movie. There's also a romantic relationship that forms between Jodie Foster's character and Matthew McConaughey's character. Kind of a tough little last name for him. The romance between the two of them, I think, is pretty successful for the most part. And once again, it's very touching and sweet, just like the whole screen chemistry behind the girl and the dad. There's also some great intellectual conversations about science and how the science of God and space can be very complex. There's not a really simple answer for those things. So I like how the film intelligently covers, the science, the religion, and the outer space portions of how much complexity it would take to actually encounter these aliens like the film portrays. There's also some great acting performances in this movie. Jodie Foster, I completely bought the character the whole movie. She's just very curious, really wants to know what exactly is out in outer space besides just us. Matthew McConaughey is very supporting of her character. You really get the impression that he loves her a lot and really wants to have this serious relationship with her. James Woods is also pretty good in the movie. You can kind of see his side about how this was kind of a very big and financial risk to allow this girl to see these aliens, and kind of how that might hurt the government after a while financially by allowing this machine to get made. So the film explores all that. The performances are really great here. So Robert Zemeckis did a truly great job directing this movie. For my negatives of Contact, it's not the perfect movie, but for my negatives, there is some cheesy B-list sci-fi moments here. There's a character played by John Hurt in the movie, and John Hurt, as you know, he's an alien in Harry Potter and all these big films. He has a role in the movie, and I kind of didn't buy the character. It was very cheesy, very B-list. It felt very I've been watching you this entire time. It was one of those kind of characters. And I really didn't buy it. It was kind of cool to watch, I guess, but it really came off as cheesy. Every moment he's in the movie, I just don't buy the character. He just seems like another conspiracy theorist. I couldn't buy it. There's just other little cheesy moments every once in a while that's like that. It felt very out of place in a realistic movie like this. There's also some outdated CGI in the movie. The movie starts to get serious about Jodie Foster meeting the aliens, some of that CGI is pretty outdated for the most part. Obviously, it does still look pretty cool, but you can definitely tell this film was made in the '90s because some of that CGI really doesn't look good compared to the 2015 standards. One complaint, and really not against this movie just because this other film came out so many years later. I thought this film was extremely similar to Interstellar. It covers a lot of things that Interstellar also covered, which isn't obviously Contact's fault because Contact came out many years before Interstellar did. But it has Matthew McConaughey in it, like Interstellar. There's things that happened in the movie, like Interstellar, that also happened to Matthew McConaughey. The film covers wormholes, black holes, dimensions. There's just so many things that this film covered that Interstellar covered that I'm almost wondering if whether you like Interstellar or hate Interstellar, or like Contact or hate Contact, I'm almost wondering because both films exist now, if one film is going to hurt the other in the long run. Another negative I had about Contact is it really takes on a lot at once. It tries to be a romance story, it tries to be a father and daughter story, it tries to be an outer space story, it tries to be a drama, it tries to be a mystery movie, it tries to be a political movie, it tries to be a lot of things. And Zemeckis did a really good job directing this movie. As you can tell by my positives, there's tons of things to absolutely love about this movie, but there's just so much here. There's a lot of content here for 2.5 hours, and the 2.5 hours obviously don't waste any time because it has so much content to cover. But it takes on a lot. It takes on a lot of material that I would never expect any director to take on for a movie. There's enough content here for two really big movies, and it crams it into 2.5 hours. And after a while, it's a lot to take in for this movie. So I'm going to give Contact a 9 out of 10. It's a terrific movie. Robert Zemeckis, once again, encourages us to dream big about our dreams, to never let go of the impossible because Contact, The Walk, Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, all these terrific films he's directed encourage us to believe. And I think Contact is definitely a film that definitely encouraged me to believe for sure. But like I said, some of that cheesy B-list sci-fi moments that really don't need to be in there. I think John Hurt's character could have been cut completely in the movie, and I like John Hurt. Don't get me wrong. Just his character didn't fit into this movie. The outdated CGI, it felt really similar to Interstellar, and like I said, it came out many years before Interstellar, but they feel extremely similar. And the film does take on quite a bit more than I could ever imagine one film could ever handle. So 9 out of 10 for me. It's a really good movie. If you have not seen Contact, I would highly recommend it. Like I said, it has a lot to say about science and God and religion and how all that can impact an encounter with alien life. And it's just a really interesting movie. They don't really. It's not like E.T. where it's about the aliens the whole time. Obviously, there's a lot more going on, but there's a lot of really interesting conversations. It really does kind of ask you as the viewer, what do you believe in? Do you think there's really alien life out there? Really good movie, 9 out of 10. If you haven't seen Contact yet, I would highly recommend it. It's quite a good movie.